everybody, I'm Kitsunehoruri and welcome to Doll Yokai. Today I'm going to be doing a little guy that's intended for Halloween, and hopefully you'll be seeing this maybe before or at least right beforehand. And well, he's going to be just a little bit of a modification of a figure that's intended for modification. It's this little guy right here. Now this cute little fella, I've had him for a couple of years, sitting on the back burner, waiting his turn, and now is the time. I finally have an idea of what I want to do with him. Now he's a little vinyl figure. It's very hard vinyl. It's not like, regular doll heads and things where you can squeeze it. Theoretically, you can take his head off. It is articulated, as are the arms. I'm not going to try to do that because I don't know for sure that I'll get him back together, and he is the only one I've got. But this little fella is made by RoseArt. So he is intended to be a craft figure. And let's just see what I come up with to make him a little more beautiful. Alright, let's go. Even though he's supposed to be a craft supply, I'm still going to give this guy a quick sanding just to be sure I have the best surface to work with. And a quick wipe down to remove all the dust. So I don't like the way he has these squared off toes. I think I'm going to round those out and make them look a little bit more natural. This is the last of a tube of repair epoxy. Let's see if it's any good or if I'm going to the store before I continue. Which may be a distinct possibility. By the way, anytime you're using an epoxy, wear your gloves. You might be able to get it off with some acetone, but it's still not good for you. Alright, let's try this out. It's a 2-part epoxy. And I need a supply line. Here we go. This stuff smells like a porta potty. For those who haven't used repair epoxy before, as you're working it, it's getting very, very hot. And you have a very short time for it to be worked before it starts to set up. Alright. Now that it is one solid collar, I'll separate it. And let's round out this boy's shoes. It does not like to stick. Looks pretty good. Let's do the other one. Alright, here's his rounded out feet, and I'm going to leave him to set up, and we'll get back to him later. Okay, so this was allowed to dry, and yes, as you can see, it's a little bit rough looking. And please forgive my lighting because it's gotten a little dark outside and I don't have anything above my head right now. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this sanded down, and once that's done, I'm going to look at his body color. So let's get on with that. I am using a block sander to start out. Yeah, this one's seen better days. It's been cat chewed and everything. But it should do the job just fine. You can also use just regular sheets of sanding paper if you like. He's not perfectly smooth. He's looking good enough for what I'm going to be doing. So let's get all the dust off. And then we're going to look at getting the body painted. Next, I'm going to do an undercoat of flat protective enamel by Rust-Oleum. I use Rust-Oleum because it's pretty good at binding with the plastic, and it also has some waterproof ability here. I'm going to go ahead and get a good layer on to, first of all, give myself a little bit of a base for the paint to stick to, and also to help with the shadowing later. Special tip, by placing a plastic lid underneath the item, I can actually turn it around while I'm painting it. Does my paint work? Looks like I'm going to need some new paint. Alright, let's see what else I've got. Okay, well, I wanted the brown, but it looks like I'm going to be going with black because my can was dead. Even though I started on paint, it wasn't spraying anymore. So, pretty much same deal. This one specifically rust protection. But, you know, same deal. I'm going to go ahead and get that painted with this one. Alright, we'll just leave that to dry. Okay, so I've got his base coat done. A couple spots missed won't really matter. I'm going to be going over this with the undercolors anyway. I know some of you are probably going to ask, why did I use a black spray paint instead of a clear sealant? I'm going to get the same texture that you're looking for when you're wanting to do the artwork on these. But in this case, I needed the dark base to do my shadowing because this is going to be kind of a Halloween thing. Now, if you'll please excuse the light fading in and out. I've got bad lighting in here right now for it being dark outside. And I'm trying to compensate with a flashlight hanging off of my curtain rod. I'm going to remedy that soon. But for now, let's go ahead and just do the color blocking for the body and for the head. Now he is a little pumpkin guy, so I want him to maybe have a green body indicating the stem, and his head itself is going to be pumpkin orange. So let's go ahead and start with the body itself. I am using a really old bottle of Crafter's Edition acrylic paint, and my color is Christmas green. Of course, you're doing your own little guys, you'll do them in whatever color you would please. Like I said, a really old bottle. There's a nice little filbert. Let's use that. I always wet my brushes when I'm using acrylics. This goes ahead and softens them up and makes them really ready to paint well. And let's just go right in it. For my orange, I'm using Anita's All-Purpose Acrylic Craft Paint. This one is number 11140, Pumpkin. I'm going to get a wider brush for this one. I think this guy will do. On my second layer of orange, I'm not going down into the cracks. I want some of that black to show through the paint, so he looks old and worn, like an antique Halloween decoration would. Putting it on light, not quite dry brushing, but close. I'm going to leave this little fella to dry, and once he's done drying, I'm going to start in on some extra shadows and highlights. So we'll be right back. Okay, so off camera I did go ahead and add on an extra coat of clear sealer, because this paint, the green, was not wanting to stick, and when I was touching it was coming off. So the orange was doing okay, but not the green. So I went ahead and got that sprayed, and now I'm going to start adding a little bit of detail with some brown. And I have a collection of really roughed up, chewed up brushes that I use for when I'm doing any dry brushing or anything like that. You don't want to use a good brush for it. If it's rough, it's flared out. And here's an even better example. This thing is an absolute atrocity. It's all chewed up. It's got curly ends. Those are really great for doing your dry brushing because it's fluffy and it doesn't leave exact lines. So I'm going... Whoops, forgot to open my water today. I'm going to go ahead and dry brush this guy. Brush is ready. Alright, so there's the dusting of the light brown. Next I'm going to go in with some burnt umber. going to try and darken up the pumpkin a bit, and then I'll see if I can make him look a little more viney and grainy on his body. Okay, it is face time. Just got a regular colored pencil. I know everybody else uses watercolor pencils. I've got some somewhere. I don't know where right now. So I'm going to see if this will work, especially after it was feasted upon by my ancient pencil sharpener. But, yeah, we do what we can. Let's go ahead with the face. I'm just going to trace that in. Start with his nose. Yeah, this will work. Just try and get them even. There's the magic trick. Sketched in. Next will be the paint. Okay, I've got a different size brush. It's another fine. Not nearly as small as this one. Bring it up where you can see. I'm going to fill him in with yellow first, as though he's lit up on the inside. Then I'll bring the details out in darker colors. So I want to change his eye shape. I don't want him to just be triangles. I want him to have a little more expression. So let's just take a little corner out of this with my kneaded eraser. And maybe take a little crescent shape. An eye. He'll look like he's looking to the side. Alright, let's let that dry, and then I'll let you on a couple more layers until that's just a bit more opaque. Alright, while I wait on that to dry, I've picked out a dowel and a ball, and I'm going to make him a little parade stick. Looks like that one will fit in his hand. I think I want to make it just slightly taller than he is. That's where I'll cut it off at. Alright. Let's sand that down. Would split a little bit at the top, but that's okay because I'm going to be decorating this. It won't be noticeable. That looks good together. Make sure it's in tight. Let's choose some ribbons. Alright, I've chosen this because I'm going to make a neck ruffle for him. And these will be the decorative ribbons. So, what I want is for them to fall from here. Wonder. Maybe I should stick them up in. I know this is going to make this a lot tighter, so I'm going to do a little bit of adjusting to the thickness of the stick as well, right after I flame the ends of these ribbons so they won't fray. Looks pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit of glue down the inside to make sure it stays there. I'm probably not doing this in the best possible order. I probably should have painted it first, but oh well. I do as I do. The glue seep in and dry. Now we can get back to painting this guy. Give him a touch of the orange mixed with some brown to tone it down. Or maybe I'll leave it bright to go around the edges of his eyes. And while I'm at it, let's get rid of some pencil marks. Now the orange is only going to show on one side because you're only going to see the rind from one direction, really. I think I'm going to put it on this side so I can go around that. Yeah, a couple of laugh lines might do for him. In this case, they're looking a little bit like some eyelashes, really. But he still has that nice vintage look. Maybe a laugh line around the mouth. Not bad. Still keeping that nice vintage look. This bead. Hopefully I won't pull the ribbons out of it doing this, but I probably will. I knew it. Let's do this so I can finish up. So I want to dirty this up and make it look a little old. That's a little dry yet. Let's put a little bit of this brown over here. Slightly watered down. Just roll this bead in it. See if I can pick up some of that paint. That'll just age it a little bit so it doesn't look quite so new. Maybe I should make this look like a pumpkin. So let's get that little fine brush. Some of that brown paint. I'm not worried about it being too perfect this time because it's going to be tiny. Here we go. And that can go down and be sprayed as well. Sprayed on some more matte sealer. Unfortunately, it seems to be showing up a little bit up here, but that's okay. It gives a little bit more to that aged look for him. Make sure everything's still working. And before I go on with him, I need to get this glued together. So let's see if I can do it this time without messing it up. Pressed it in there tight. Hopefully tight enough. There's a little hole in the top of his head though. I think I might need to stick something in that. Let me have a look. Let's see what kind of dried flowers I've got. Don't want anything that's too terribly big, or maybe I do. I don't know. Let's see. Well, based on what I've got down in there, it looks like I'm going to go with the little blue flowers. So I'll keep a few of those out. We'll go ahead and put one on top of this little guy's head. Just pinch that off. A little bit more of the tacky glue. Not too bad, and that'll take care of the hole in the top of his head. So I'll just set him aside to dry. He's going to have a little bit of powdered chalk pastels. Now make sure that you're using chalk pastel and not oil pastels. Oil pastels do not quite go on as well, and they will leave stains. Don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but he is blushed. So he's going to get one more spray down, and then we can get down to his decorative touches. Alright, all of his painting is done, so it's time to get him dressed up. Initially, I believe my plan is going to be making him a ruffle. And I was going to make it go all the way around, but he has an articulated neck, and I don't want to lose that. So I think I'm going to make it stand up a little bit in the back, maybe. Or maybe it'll hang down. We'll see what it'll let me do. I'm going to use some of the same ribbons that I used on his parade stick to tie it on. And we'll see what other little decorations I can add on to him. As well as the blue flowers, of course. So let's get on to that. Since this ribbon can't be melted, I'm going to use a little bit of the tacky glue on it to keep it from fraying. While that's drying, actually, let's go ahead and cut the length I want. Let me check something. I'm going to want at least 3 times that length. 1, 2, and 3. Plus a little bit more just for fray checking. And go ahead and glue that in as well. Right, for these ribbons, which are going to be the tie-arounds, I want enough length that it'll not only go around his neck, but leave me enough room for a bow and a little bit of dangle. Figure out where center is. Just there. and then just a tiny dot of hot glue to keep them in place. Found these at Dollar Tree. You'll want some if you're going to be doing a lot of hot gluing. Makes it a lot easier and you're less likely to get burned. Now I know this isn't quite dry yet, but I can go ahead and start my ruffling. So I want to find center here. And I'm going to attach that to the center of the ribbons. And then I'm going to cinch this in a little at a time all the way down. Alright, I got this all ruffled up. Let's see how it looks on him. I'll see if I turn it right side up or upside down. I think right side up is the way I want. Where are the hot glue stringies? They're everywhere. I think up is the right direction. So let's tie this on him. A bit of a trim on his ribbons here, and we can move on to the next thing. I think a couple of blue flowers might be in his near future. So let's have a look here. Alright. Let me fluff him up a little bit and I'll give you some final reveals. Okay, and here he is, Little Jack, vintage style pumpkin boy. It did take me a couple of days to do this in sporadic little bits, but I think he came out pretty good. I did have some problems getting his staff in his hand. I ended up chipping his paint off. An unfortunate truth with art dolls. You can chip their paint pretty easily no matter how well sealed they are. But he's supposed to be vintage. He ain't going anywhere but my own shelf, so that's okay with me. I'll fix him at a later date. But I do like the way he turned out. He still has all of his articulation. And to keep this from moving around too much, I went ahead and glued the ruffle to the back of his head and under his chin. He still can move his head that way, but at least now his ribbon isn't doing this. So thank you so very much for joining me and watching this character build. The next one, we just have to wait and see what I'm doing next. The plan is to try and have out a new doll video once a month right now, maybe? Yes, you are seeing two pretty close together right now, but the last one was supposed to have come out in September, and I didn't know what I was getting into with my editing. So, anyway guys, thank you so very much for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and hit the notification bell to let you know when the next video does come up. Also, you can come and visit me at my original channel, Kitsunehoruri, right here on YouTube, or visit my Patreon, or also my Etsy page once I get it open again. Right now it's not, but that's coming back again soon. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.